Okay, we're ready?
Yep.
Okay, this is the Poco press, and the Poco press is 100 years old, and give or take, it could be more than 100. And we're cutting some 6-inch blocks to fit in it, and so we've discovered some things about the Poco press. And one is that we think that if we take it apart, that these two pieces of birch ply, which are roughly a 1/2 inch, these stacked on top of each other, plus this metal sheet, are the correct height to use with the Poco press. We don't want to use really high pressure with the Poco press. It's not designed for that. You want just enough pressure to just do a very, very light embossment, and so it should crank through really easy. But what I think we figured out is that, because this was designed for metal type, and so it's designed for type high. And yesterday I cut these to hold the blocks. These are not as hot, but so we can just slap these in on top of that block. Oops. Slap that in on top of that block. And this should stay locked between the pins. And then this will drop in between that, and that's so that we can cut print either 8x10 or 4x6. And so we're going to drop a 4x6 inch block in there like that. And I think what we've discovered is that the right amount of pressure is equivalent to that metal plate under there, the 2 blocks, and then probably the paper plus a sheet of, there's a paper for printing, and then a sheet of, that's 2 sheets, sheet of tag board. And I think that's probably going to be really close to the exact right amount of pressure. Rolling it through, I think that's going to be just right. If you print and it's not the right, if it's too light, you know, you can try adding another sheet of tag board.
Good, thanks.
Well, that's how we'll shim it up, is it will just, you know, if you're not getting enough pressure, just add more tag board. This belongs to the Poco press, but this is too thick and it'll create too much pressure. This is for a different combination of block heights, so we want to protect this and save it. And if we were going to print with it, we'd be printing face down so the rubber side touched the back of the paper. But we're not going to use this, but we don't want to lose it either. So we're going to use water-soluble oil-based ink. When we're printing out in the field, we'll probably always use oil-based ink, water-soluble or regular oil-based ink. And the reason for that is the oil-based ink will not dry on us while we're working. And so if we have to print all day with breaks in between prints, it can just sit on the block. It won't dry out the way that screen ink does. That said, oil-based ink gets everywhere. It gets on your fingers, and then you'll transfer it to the paper that you're handling. Unlike screen ink, where you can just kind of wipe it off quick and it's done, the oil-based ink will sit in your fingerprints, and it'll transfer forever. And so keeping wet wipes handy, keeping a spray bottle and paper towels is going to be important to try to get it off of stuff. These we're going to want to coat with polyurethane, so hopefully somebody today would be willing to coat the polyurethane. And we want to get polyurethane all over the places where the cut happened, because it's real charcoaly, and so that's going to also be a problem until we get it sealed up. That way we can wipe the oil-based ink right off of the holding block there. So we'll just pull a couple of these. I wish Brianna was here, but because we can do this today, we're just going to do it. We're going to print a red flat with the background key, or with the background block. And then after it dries, probably next week, we'll print the black and white key. And so hopefully this will register enough. I'm going to cut these blocks. I cut registration lines that you can see on here to be able to line the paper up exactly. And so we can use these, as long as we use 5x7 inch sheets of paper for the 4x6 blocks, and 9x12 sheets of paper for the 8x10 blocks, then hopefully it'll be kind of consistent, and you know, we'll figure it out as we go along. This is oil-based ink. One of the things when you're getting ink out of cans is that you want to not gouge it. Don't like dig in and scoop a bunch out. Like try to skim it off of the top like that, so that you leave a flat, smooth surface behind, and that way it doesn't get crunchy on the top. And a little bit of this ink will go a long way. And so I put some out here. And you don't need to roll a big giant square of it. Like to roll these 4 by 6 inch blocks. And how much ink is the right amount? You do it by ear generally, which is, you hear, this is maybe a little too much ink, and I maybe want a slightly higher pitched sound. And so I'm going to thin it out a little bit. And get it a little bit quieter. And if you look in close, you can see just the pebbling from the ink surface. This is a little bit finer than it is over here. There it's a little bit more coarse. And you want a really pretty fine pebble on the roller. And so then the actual rolling, I forgot a thing. Can you pause?